What's up, y'all? I'm Quincy, design manager, principal designer, design director, and we are on day 27 of this 30-day redesign challenge. Only 3 days left. This is crazy that I've been doing this for almost 30 straight days. So today we are redesigning a company, of course, that has rejected my application, which is Cumming Group. They are a real estate development firm and design firm, and they do absolutely amazing work. One of the amazing things that they didn't do was give me an opportunity. So, Cumming Group, we are going to redesign your website, your mobile web, essentially, and we're going to make this happen. So, come on this journey with me. If you do not know the backstory, go watch the other 26 days, and let's get into it. All right, let's go. All right, so we are on their website, Cumming Group. Building value through expertise. Let's go. Project management, cost consulting company. So delivering creative, customized solutions to vast portfolio of clients. Truly amazing. Absolutely amazing. So let's take it to their mobile. And now we are just switching to their mobile view, which is here. Now this is their mobile view. Let me just refresh. This is their mobile view, which isn't necessarily great, essentially, because the titles and the copy is not really readable on each and every one of these hero images. So we're going to correct that. The hamburger menu doesn't line up on the left-hand side, essentially. The CTA is not necessarily, it's translucent, so we can't really see it at all. So we're gonna, fix that too. We have Construction Insights podcast. So I'm gonna create just a centralized card just for the podcast. So it looks different because right now it's stacked top, bottom, essentially. So let's give it a little bit more flavor, essentially. And now you have the development projects that they have going on, like this 1928 hotel, Waco, Texas. Learn more. Again, CTA you can't really read. 1928 hotel you can see it, but for Waco, Texas you can't see it at all. Integrated consulting services. So everything is centered, aligned, center. I'm not a fan of keeping everything center aligned, so we're gonna left align pretty much everything. It just looks a little bit more appealing. It gives a little bit more je ne sais quoi, So essentially everything's the same, for all these cards. There's a background, which is their projects that they worked on. There's the title, there's the location, and there's a CTA button. So it's not a terrible experience, but it could use just some revamping, and that's what we're here to do. I'm going to revamp this thing. So that's really it of the site, and I can't believe they denied my application. Come on, man! Come on! You take a look at my resume. You take a look at the work that I've put together. Come on. So anyway, let's get into it. All right, let's go. We're going to take this to where we going? Figma. All right. Now we're in Figma. I'm going to bring in my reference graphics, reference layout, essentially. Going to move everything out and group it together. So I have the reference on what I am designing, what I'm looking at, what I'm going for. Make sure everything lines up, essentially. And now I'm going to create my frame, which is going to be an iPhone frame. iPhone, I think 16 Max. And I'm going to grab their logo. I was trying to find an SVG somewhere, but couldn't find it. So I'm just on Google Images looking for their logo. And essentially, I'd like to create 3 logos. Their normal logo, which is color, but theirs is just black, and a black one, a white one essentially, but no need because it's just a black logo. Gonna put my grid in, 20 pixels on both sides, 10 pixels is gutter. Gonna put my logo in, gonna create my header, essentially. My logo, my hamburger menu, I'm just gonna grab some assets from a different project I worked on. Easy enough, gonna make the hamburger menu actual hamburger. on the previous site, it wasn't a hamburger. It was like a double burger or whatever might have you. Anyway, so now I have my header, and my header's here, all set. Now I'm going to just go back to the website. I'm going to grab, the copy, the title for this hero image is building value through expertise. Put the description in, the paragraph in. Get that photo from their website. Now I already have a gradient that's on the background. That's why you're able to see the image so clearly. You see the image, you know what it is, and it looks great. Essentially you could completely see the text. So I'm on the website. I want to maybe lessen the weight of the title, essentially. Move the shadow around. I put an angle to it. Seeing if I like it. Gonna adjust the image. I mean, it's cool. We're getting there. We're just understanding the relationship between the gradient in the back, making sure it just looks good. Now I'm gonna edit this CTA. Because right now they have a CTA that's just white outline. So I want to make it blue, but I want the opacity to be a little bit transparent, essentially. So you can still see what's in the background, but you still know that it's a CTA. You still know it's a button that you can click on. Gonna group everything together, move everything around. There we go. Now I essentially have a white outline on my CTA. I'm not feeling it much, but I'm eventually just gonna take it out because it shouldn't be there. But we're gonna move on to the next part, which is the podcast. I'm gonna grab a screenshot of just both of them together because their original screenshot that they have on the website has the play button on the image. I don't want that because that play button is huge. So now I'm just grabbing all their images on their website so I don't have to keep going back and forth. So it just, in one sitting, takes me about 3 minutes to grab all their images. All right, so now I'm going to create the podcast. Make sure everything's going to align to the grid. Even though it is full width, we're going to still have 20 pixels on both sides. So it aligns, all our content aligns with the grid. Now I have that image in here. Really, I want to stack the title in the paragraph together, and stacking the title and paragraph together, I want to put a background on the title, which is that yellow, that gold that they're using on the right-hand side. And I want to put the paragraph in a color also. I'm gonna start up with white, but I'm gonna change it because I'm not satisfied. I'm not necessarily like, look, I wanted the stack look. That's the look that I wanted to go for, throughout this project. But I'm not necessarily sure it's gonna work. But we're gonna work it out, see where I could place it, where I could put it, see if I could adjust the opacity, change the background color. And I'm not feeling it. But, I'm gonna grab a play button off of, I believe it was material. And I would put a play button here. I'm trying to, instead of making the play button dead center, maybe I could put it to the left or to the right of the title. But I'm not sure people would get that they can click the button at all. Right now I made it a background red, which is, of course, YouTube. But are people going to get that they can click in there? Not necessarily. So made the headline just a little smaller. Took out that play button because I'm not sure people are going to get it. And right now it's in the color. And just moving things around. If it works, doesn't work. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, no good. So now I have everything stacked on top of each other. I'm going to adjust the title, make it a little bolder, essentially. But I'm looking at the boldness on top and then the boldness here. Does that work? I'm going to take out the color, make the play button bigger. Now you can click on that. just adjusting everything, make sure everything's full width. I was thinking maybe everything should be lined to the right or the bottom one lined to the left. No, still not feeling it. I'm virtually just going to group auto layout everything. Just working out, understanding the relationship between everything. Do I need a background on this? Do I want it on top of the image? Or should the image be left alone and everything else just, the content just fall below, essentially? So, but I'm going to move on because I'm not satisfied with it, but I'm going to move on to the property cards, that 1928 hotel. Now I want these property cards to be bigger, so I made it a little taller. I want the 1928 hotel, the hotel name to stand out. And I want the location to stand out also, but I want the location on the right-hand side of the hotel. And that's going to be a pattern that we're going to create throughout it all. So it'll be name of the hotel, then the location, and then right below it would be that learn more CTA link. Now we're just going to create another link. I'm going to make it black at this very moment. Make the padding on top smaller than what it currently is, just in that variant. Gonna underline it. Change the opacity some. Still want it to be kind of see-through. So now we have this card. Now we're just gonna duplicate this card into the next location. Gonna change the background. And there we go. Now we have a pattern going. I'm just gonna do each and every one of these locations. Change the title, which is the location name, and then change where it is. The learn more link stays exactly the same. Now everything is really readable. You're able to see it, scan the page, understand the relationship. Your eyes are not jumping around or trying to focus in on what you need to. Now I need to create a content card, which is really just a title with a paragraph, no background at all. Right now they have it in this gray color, but everything's centered aligned. I'm gonna make everything left aligned. I want everything to fall down from on the left. Delete these bullets. Make the subtitle bolder and a little 2-point sizes bigger. Now that looks intriguing, but I want to change the background color. I don't think the background color should be white, essentially, because I really want everything to fall right on top of each other from the top to the bottom. Aside from the podcast card, because I think that should stand out a little bit more. So, but we're going to work out the space. Maybe it should be a yellow with a black background. No, absolutely not. Should it have a background color? Should it have two background colors? Should it be one background color? No, not necessarily. Should it be all black? I like that, it being all black. Now we're going to create the one that's right below it in the yellow color. And I'm somewhat satisfied, but I'm not. So I'm going to edit the color. Maybe it should be the color on the right. Going to work out the padding, auto out the ones on top, the sub and the main title. Now I made a mistake here where the frame goes within another frame, but I like it. I think it stands out a lot. So we're going to continue this as you'll see. So now I'm just going to put in all those other cards, essentially. Position this a little better. Change all the titles. Just making my way down the page. But as I keep making my way down the page, I'm still thinking about the podcast card on top because I'm not satisfied with it. Now, I'm going to make this a darker red. I don't want it to be this really bright red because bright red means warning or breaking news or something like that. So it doesn't need to be red at all. All right. So podcast card. Oh my gosh. Actually, before we do that, we're going to put in our footer. We're going to just redesign this footer a little bit. We're going to make these titles bigger, make the links yellow with an underline so you know their links. So right now on the right-hand side, what they currently have, you don't know their links. You don't know their links in the copy, in any paragraph at all. So we're going to make sure people know that these are links. Going to grab their social media. Just going to make these a little bigger so I could just screenshot them really quick. Only takes a few seconds to do all this. So I did that and I forgot about them for a second. All right, so we're going to put my last piece of copy in there. Now, again, I forgot about the social icons, but I'm going to put a divider in. I want a divider to separate that last card and the footer, essentially. And I want it to be in a white background with about 20 pixels of padding on top and the bottom. But now I brought that divider up to the top, this separator. So now it's resting right below the hero and then right below the podcast card. Now, what should I do about this podcast card? I'm sitting here thinking how I should work it out, how it should be, how it should look, what it should be doing, what's the relationship between the top card, which is the hero, and the bottom card. So should I take out the title in the paragraph? Where should that go? Yeah, just deciding. All right, so I took the global presence out of there. I made this a darker purple, essentially, in the background. Changed some spacing, making sure it just lines up correctly. Here, now this is where I put in my social links, which I forgot about before, even though I created them, took a screenshot. Now they're in auto layout. They're all going to be same size, essentially. Just made a background color, make sure that they are going to go full width. I'm going to border radius them, put them first in here, but they need to really drop below there. So there we go. Now it's in there. Now satisfied. Now we can focus on this podcast. Now I'm thinking maybe I should get a podcast icon and add in here somewhere. You know, it differentiates the top from the bottom, which I'm talking about the hero, from the first card, which is the project. Maybe there should be a title on top, but I'm not feeling it because it's breaking, you know, my pattern. It's breaking what I really want to do. You know, I'm introducing another element, which I'm not too sure should be it. It's got to be a separate card, essentially. So maybe it should be on the bottom. Everything should be on the bottom with that icon, essentially. Take out title, made it smaller, adjusted the width and the height, made the construction and the icon all together. But I'm thinking maybe I should put it on top. You know, this title should be on top. Change the background color, made it just a slightly darker gold color. I'm going to adjust this sizing, make sure it aligns to the grid. I'm not sure why it wasn't aligning to the grid. So now I'm thinking, maybe let me put it on top. As I change the background color. So maybe white, black, but now I see, wait, let me adjust it. Let me move everything together. Let me put some padding on both sides. Let me take the icon and the title out. Let me put it on the top. Let me make this an actual podcast card. And that's what's happening. I'm making this an actual card, podcast card. And I think that looks good right now. I'm going to change the color, essentially. I'm going to settle on a dark gray. I was thinking maybe I should outline that thumbnail, which is the image, but I'm deciding against it. A little bit more padding on top at the bottom. But now it's actual card. So someone, as they scroll down the page, they see, wow, this is different. This is cool. And I like it. It's convenient. It's nice. Adjust the spacing for these titles. Make sure that there are a token, a style that I created, which I realized I didn't create before. I just duplicated those cards, essentially, duplicated those layouts, those frames, essentially. Make sure everything aligns to the grid. Look at this podcast card. Oh my God, it's a beautiful. God, I'm just in love with this podcast card. Make it a blue. Woo, that's hot right there. That blue, that's a hot blue. Even though it's not like a bright blue, but it's a subtle blue. But I like it. It's gorgeous, man. Absolutely gorgeous. So I'm gonna test this out for a second. But I realized, of course, the top. I need to make more pixels on the top so the camera does not go over my header. Don't need that to happen. I'm gonna adjust it, making sure I want my header actually not to scroll. So I'm gonna take it out of this frame, make another frame so it doesn't scroll anymore. So essentially once you scroll, it stays on top. And that's what I want to happen. I need it to stay on top. Usually I won't go through the step and, because it just adds more time, but we're here. So we're going to get into it. Lining everything up. Just working out. Now it looks good on top where it does not encroach upon that camera. So, but it's still, I'm getting there. Not necessarily how I want the function yet, but it's getting there now. It's here. Here it is. I got it somewhat, but I figured there's some other things that I want to work out. These links, as I scroll down, I figured these links were black. I don't want them black. I want them blue. I was thinking about putting them on the right-hand side. No, I'm not going to put them on the right-hand side. I'm going to put them on the left. Change my actual variant to a blue, which is just a little darker blue, essentially. But listen, I'm satisfied with all of this, and I really want to show it to you guys. So get ready, man, because day 27 is done. All right, let me show it to you guys.